What is up, everybody? This is Lyle with No Hippie Trucking and Transportation Wannabe, and that wannabe is going to be dropping off here pretty soon. It is December 2nd, and I am out in Springfield, Missouri, and you have to excuse me if I am extremely tired, but that drive from Denver to Springfield, that's just under 800 miles. Knocked that out last night and then ended up trying to get some sleep in my car at the terminal. That really didn't work out good. And now I am at the Oasis Hotel, and for some reason I'm not able to get any sleep right now. So anyway, what I do want to talk to you guys about is, especially some of you newer people coming into this is kind of a fun video. Don't take this really too serious, but I just wanted to talk about 10 types of truck drivers that you'll see out there on the road. Now, like I said, this is fun. Don't take any offense to this. Most people that drive trucks fall into several of these different categories. So anyway, let's begin. First one I'm going to talk about is the operator. And I don't mean like a SEAL team operator, Delta Force, anything like that. I'm talking about an operator with the headset, like the old 1970s operators used to wear the headsets. These guys are easy to identify. They not only wear their headset in their trucks where it might be applicable, but they'll just be running around town wearing their headsets like they're just waiting for that call to come in. Just can't wait to answer that phone. Anyway, this is a fad that used to be around back in, like, I'd say like 2005 to maybe 2005, 2006, where everybody used to wear them little earpieces. Well, everybody else in the world got wind that that fad had to go, but truck drivers are not giving that shit up. Love their headsets. Never take them off. Anyway, the operator, number one. Now, the second type of trucker is a trucker that my friend that's been driving trucks since 1992 warned me about when I first got into trucking. He said, Lyle, when you're at these truck stops or you're wherever, do not talk to these people, because you're going to end up in a conversation that lasts for like an hour. And I was like, man, he don't know what he's talking about. He's over exaggerating. So I went out and just thought I was going to have a brief conversation with somebody that had a nice Peterbilt. I was like, man, that's a nice truck. 45 minutes later, after him telling me everything about the truck and everything about the truck that he had before that he didn't like that he has in this truck, made me realize that the talker is real, and that is just one instance. So, you know what? The talker's fine with me. I don't necessarily mind the talker if I have time for the talker, but sometimes they're hitting you when, it's not necessarily the time for a 30-minute conversation. So that's truck driver number two. Now, my friend that's been driving trucks since 1992 is this next trucker, and that's back in the day guy. So back in the day guy is going to tell you everything about how great things were back in the day before there was GPS, back when they used to grill out on the truck stops, and when if a truck broke down, a trucker would, stop and help them. And, back in the day guy, I'm that same way when it comes to old school music, so I can understand that. But listen, everything back in the day is not better than what it is now. An average rational person will tell you that a GPS is more convenient and better than an Atlas. Let's just keep it real. Now, I keep an Atlas for backup, but anyway, back in the day guy. Everything was better back in the day. All right, now this one is one that a lot of truck drivers fall into, and that is the job hopper. Now, you see some of these truck drivers. Now, I stayed with my last company for damn near 20 years before I got into trucking. And one thing, and during that period of time, I was a manager for almost just a little bit under half of that time. And the mortgage business was it was a little job hopperish, but not as job hopperish as like the truck driver. So one thing I can tell you, whether you want to believe it or not, if you're job hopping, a lot of times you ended up in the same situation you were in before. And to be honest with you, once you're on that third job in a year, if somebody hires you, it's like, if somebody hires you, they're hiring you out of desperation, not because you're the best candidate. Think about that. So, the job hopper, another person you're going to meet out here on the road. Now, the know-it-all could be good and bad. You know, a lot of times you'll find know-it-all people that are telling you how to be a truck driver, how to do this, how to do that, and it's coming from like a purely educational standpoint. But then you have these other people that are know-it-alls that are telling you how to be a better trucker, things like this. A lot of times you'll find these people on YouTube, and they're telling you how to be a trucker, but they don't have their life squared away. So the know-it-all, you know what, if it's coming from the right perspective, the know-it-all could be very valuable to you. The next one, is the critic. Now, this is another one that you will find a lot of on YouTube. Is, you know, they're really rare to find them out in out in the field, out at truck stops or shippers, receivers, stuff like that. But the critic is always going to be, criticizing how somebody else does their job. And 9 times out of 10, they don't have their shit squared away. So the critic is somebody that I think I've found more so on YouTube than I've found in real life. All right, the next one. Now, this is a pet peeve of mine. Coming out of the financial industry, the way some truck drivers talk about money. I mean, listen, I'm for your own good. Don't be the after-tax guy. When you're talking about how much money you make, never talk about your money after taxes. Real life people that deal with real life money don't talk about after taxes, because the money that you make before taxes is the actual money you make. Your after-tax amount, there's a whole bunch of different things that could skew that. Where you live, what kind of deductions you have, several different things that can't really be comparable if you're going to be telling somebody how much you make after taxes. So, listen, don't sound unfinancially savvy and go to your banker and try to buy a house or a car or whatever and tell them how much you make after taxes. Trust me on that. Another one that you're going to find, and this isn't as common as I thought it was going to be, but when you see this one, it is a lot worse than I thought it would be, and that's the pig pen. And I think they're not as prevalent as I thought they would be when I got into truck driving, because actually, oddly enough, a lot of these truck drivers are super clean. But the pig pen, a lot of times you'll find them. I was at a Kenworth dealership or a Peterbilt dealership when a truck had broke down, my first trainer's truck, and there was a guy that was in there getting his truck fixed, and I swear to God, when people say that you could have stood his pants up in a corner and they would have stood up, it was like you could probably scrape the grease off these pants. It was like horrible. Face looked like a coal miner, but you will see them out there. But like I said, not quite as prevalent as I thought it was going to be before I got into this. For the most part, listen, a lot of these truck drivers are taking care of their hygiene a whole lot better than what the perception is to the average public person. So that's another one. And you're going to find the rookie out there. Now, the rookie falls into a couple different categories. You have the rookie that's going to go out there and try not to be a rookie and try not to ask for help and try to figure everything out on his own. And there's some merits to that, but a lot of times you might mess up. The next rookie that you're going to see is going to be somebody that's out there that is going to lean on some of these people like the helper and maybe even the know-it-all to help them figure certain things out. So the rookie is another person. And the next and last one that I have written down is the helper. And that is exactly what it says. The helper, you'll see these guys. Now, I haven't had one help me out, but I've seen a lot of them sitting at truck stops. And as soon as a truck pulls in and has any kind of any indication that things might be a little bit hard, they're out that truck helping them back in. Or, I actually, you know what? I did have a helper. And I've been telling my trainer, we need to drain these, that's air compressors, whatever. And I didn't know where they were at the time. And I was trying to look at videos, but the videos were like all older and stuff like that. So anyway, right before I was going to actually figure it out, I'm at the fuel pump and I set my brakes and the guy's like, hey, have you drained your air compressor yet? Or when was the last time you drained it? Because that noise it made. And then that's what made me realize, you know what? I really should have been pushing to get this thing handled. But that conversation with him is actually what propelled my trainer to do it, because he'd been putting it off for a couple days before we actually did it. And it was just when the weather was starting to get down into that range where the lines could freeze and things like that. So anyway, listen, I didn't go up to the terminal today to go talk to Success Leasing or handle any of that kind of stuff because I was just too tired, and I thought that there was going to be some stuff that I was actually going to have to pay attention to. So I'm going to get some good sleep tonight, head up to the terminal tomorrow, and start this process. So hopefully we'll get this thing wrapped up fairly quickly. I do want to thank you guys for stopping by. Listen, like I said, this was a fun video, not really taking shots at anybody. I am going to have a video coming up that discusses my pet peeves about some truck drivers, the trucking industry, things like that. And that might be a little bit more serious, but hey, got to have a little bit of fun. Thanks for stopping by. I'm out.